What's going on, everyone? Taylor Kyles here for CLNS Media, coming at you with another episode of Pat's Daily, brought to you by our good friends at PrizePicks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of CLNS Media. Alex is back. We got another mock draft show for you, folks. We are so close to the finish line. So before things get serious, next week we'll probably try to do an actual mock draft with all the stuff that we've learned, all the information we've gathered for prospects up to that point, and try to give you one last hurrah before the big day. But with this one, we've gone through all quarterback drafts, we've gone through all receiver drafts, and all offensive tackle drafts for some perspective on what kind of prospects are going to be available at different points in this cycle. And today, we're doing everything but those positions. Now, first 3 rounds might be more for fun unless something crazy happens with the Patriots strategy. Really, it's going to be, I feel like, more focused on day 3, seeing what kind of guys that the auxiliary needs for the Patriots, of which there are many. If you want to go to my account and see my roster breakdown and how many 2025 free agents they have, it's kind of horrifying. But before we get into that and some news that broke today, Alex, how are you doing during the busiest time of the year?
I'm good. One more week. We're almost there. So it's getting exciting.
We're very close. You've been doing some great work as well, helping me prep, frankly. So I appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, we gotta get into the drama. You know how much I love the drama, but it's relevant because it's 2 of the most important people in Patriots history. So according to Seth Wickersham, he dropped an article today detailing how Robert Kraft reportedly was not helpful in Bill Belichick's coaching search. In fact, actually called Arthur Blank of the Falcons, who, when Bill Belichick was going to Atlanta, it seemed almost like a lock that he was going to end up being the Falcons' newest head coach. But apparently, Kraft told Blank not to trust Bill Belichick. And a lot of this stemmed from the fact that, one, it was a big part of the reason, apparently, that Bill Belichick didn't get the job. But it was because Kraft finds Bill difficult, stubborn, and very arrogant. Now, in Robert Kraft's defense, Patriots spokesperson Stacey James, who's, we work with and is fantastic for us, he did mention that if anything, Kraft advocated for Bill and pushed back on the idea that Robert Kraft was trying to thwart Bill Belichick's efforts to remain in the league. So, I kind of read it and I just waited to process it because, these things take a while to get through my brain. I just hate when stuff like this happens, especially when you're talking about like someone's legacy and, people who work together for so long, just it gets ugly in the way that it has, especially with the dynasty. But what do you think about it, man? What was your reaction?
So first off, I find it hilarious that the staunch defend the wall people, of which I have been a member of that group proudly, suddenly believe Seth Wickersham. Like Seth Wickersham, persona non grata among Patriots fans, suddenly his word is gold. The Robert Kraft is cheap stuff. Well, no, he cost himself $25 million if he talked the Falcons out of hiring Bill. No, I mean, I just find it funny how the narrative's flipped. No, like I'm pretty on the record where I'm at with Wickersham, and I think that I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying he's making things up, but there's definitely some stuff that feels maybe embellished. Not even embellished, just like dramatized to prove a point. There's not a ton of logic in Robert Kraft talking the Falcons out of hiring him. Now, they kind of allude to this with the Stacey James part, and this is more what I think happened. Did Robert Kraft just complain about the headache that was Bill Belichick working with him to Arthur Blank at some point, not even considering that Arthur Blank would ever be in a position to hire Bill Belichick? And maybe that weighed on Blank. Like, yeah, I think that's a real possibility. I also think we talked about this when Bill, even before they let him go, when we were talking about could they trade him, I was saying this, that he's going to want to come in, want complete control, and he's probably gone in 2 years. And I don't think any owners were going to be super. I thought this before, and this kind of confirmed it. Owners were not going to be super eager to turn their whole thing over. Now, I'm surprised none of them wanted to do it. I thought 1 or 2 might, especially like Dallas, where, you're chasing a ring and they are so close. But so I am surprised that nobody hired Bill. But also, like, I'm not that surprised they didn't have this. The concerns are legitimate. Mm-hmm. Whatever Robert Kraft said, the concerns are legitimate. It sounded like that was the big factor in Atlanta, because even if Kraft said what he said to Blank, why did Terry Fontenot not have him in his top 3? Why did Rich McKay not have him in his top 3? I don't think it's what they wanted. I don't think Bill's what they wanted. I think they wanted somebody who had a more long-term view. And in a sense, I get it. I don't get how Dallas doesn't make the move. That's the one that I'll always wonder.
Right. I agree.
But I can see where the Falcons were coming from. They were looking at the 10-year window rather than the 3-year window. And in the 10-year window, hiring a 73-year-old coach who's at most 2 years and done isn't, no matter who that coach is, it's nothing to do with Bill. No matter who that coach is, if you're focused on the 2-year window, on the 10-year window, that's a really tough sell.
I completely agree. When you look at the top 3 for the Falcons, it was Raheem Morris who got the job, Mike McDonald, who was one of the hottest candidates in the NFL for good reason, rave reviews from all of his players. He's a mastermind. He's had success at the college and NFL level. And then Bobby Slowick, another guy who's been a very hot name, obviously had a ton of success with the young team in the Texans. So I thought this, again, when the whole trade and all that stuff was going on, it was like, it's similar to you, where this isn't someone who's going to come in and, either take a back seat or be someone who's going to be around for a while. He's going to be there for maybe 2 years. So it has to be an immediate contender because he's not going to rebuild an entire franchise. And then we also knew that a lot of these people, if you did want to completely overhaul the way that you would have to for Bill Belichick, it's a lot to invest in a short-term project. So I'm kind of reiterating what you said, but I completely agree. And when it comes to the timeline of when these things were said exactly, it does seem a little odd. Like it says in the article that Arthur Blank and Robert Kraft are really good friends. So it's highly likely, like we saw it in the dynasty. It's not like Robert Kraft's been holding back about how he feels about Belichick. Can those feelings exist? Absolutely. But it seems a little odd that he would purposely be trying to stop Bill from getting a job. Like you can have your problems with the guy in your own house. But I do think, and maybe this is me being naive, but I do think Robert Kraft understands how valuable Bill Belichick has been, just if you want to take emotion out of it, in his business venture and bringing in as much success as he has. So, yeah, I don't know. It seemed like a weird report to me, especially considering who the source was. So, I took it with a grain of salt. It was one of those things I didn't want to react to immediately just because it just kind of felt weird and like a little dramatic again. But, yeah.
Look, if Kraft dumped on Bill to Arthur Blank, that's wrong in terms of like not letting him get a job. But I think Robert Kraft prevented the Falcons from hiring Bill Belichick. I know that's what they're trying to set up in that piece. That's a stretch with everything else we learned in there. Yeah. That, again, these other guys didn't want him. Other teams felt the same way the Falcons did. I think that's a bit much. I think that's a bit of a reach.
Agreed. We can put a bow on that one. More positive Bill Belichick news. We're getting some Bill Belichick media content, and it's the good kind where he actually gets to be himself and talk draft. The Pat McAfee show apparently is partnered with Bill Belichick, and they're going to be like a 33rd team, as they put it, where they have their own war room, and they go over what's going to happen. So we get some unprecedented access into being able to see how Bill Belichick goes through his thought process with these evaluation of prospects. He said he's still brushing up on it, loves this time of year. We got some of that classic ride Bill Belichick humor. It's a really good interview you can go watch. Also we got to hear about his opinions on the new kickoff rule and how he thought that was going to change some of the strategy and team building. So what did you think about the appearance, Alex? I feel like the kickoff one probably was pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, it was fascinating. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also like, now that's one other thing I got to track on draft night, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I think you kind of got a glimpse into it today that like we're going to get to see what a draft process looks like with Bill Belichick, which is so fascinating to me because this, even for the last 3 or 4 years,
Sorry.
This is a guy. Well, so I'll get to that in a second, but like this is a guy that dominated personnel for 15 years easily. And we're going to get to kind of see what he thinks. On top of that, pressure's on Elliott Wolf. You're going to make your first pick as a GM of an NFL team, Bill Belichick's former team, and he's instantly going to publicly judge the pick. There's your drama.
And what about the kickoff rules? Anything stand out to you in particular?
Me and Bill are on the same page. How about that? Yeah, I think teams are going to invest in changing the personnel for that because it is now an important play. And if you don't handle it right, it is a potential scoring play. So I agree with everything Bill said on that, which was a cool feeling.
Yeah. So actually, it would be a good time to have LeGarrette Blount. Really good time because obviously he did pretty damn well with the old set of rules. But with this one, like you said, yeah, if you get past that first line, you're pretty much gone. And we know LeGarrette Blount for his size had pretty ridiculous speed. And if you can't get a running start, it's going to be very hard to bring down somebody like that, which just make guys like Malachi Corley and Xavier Legette who can return and are those bulkier guys who kind of just run through tacklers, makes them a lot more valuable. All right, so we got the news out of the way. Let's get into some mock draft stuff. Again, if you're just tuning in, this draft, the purpose is going to be to ignore quarterback, wide receiver, and offensive tackle. We've already done shows about them and what kind of value you can get throughout the draft, day 1 to 3. Now we're going to look at some other positions because you never know what's going to happen. Last year, I was dead set on Zay Flowers being a Patriot or at least some kind of offensive skill position player. Ended up being Christian Gonzalez. And Bill Belichick even said they had already planned on taking Christian Gonzalez even before the whole situation where the Steelers ended up jumping the Jets. But yeah, it's going to be a fun when we get to see some of the value at other positions because the Patriots have quite a few. Alex, actually, before we get into it, are there any specific spots you feel like aren't getting talked about enough that really need to be addressed?
Corner and free safety. Those are the two big ones for me immediate. I'd like to see him add an edge rusher too, but they can add an edge rusher later. That's a 2025 pick, but you're just trying to get ahead of a need with that one.
I feel like running back is another one of those.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can like get those guys if they're undrafted. If you got, we don't really know how well the scouting department's going to do in that area necessarily, but running back Ramondre Stevenson, who might be an extension candidate, want to acknowledge that, but he is going to be a free agent next season. Antonio Gibson is the only guy who looks like he actually has a shot at being on the roster long term. But all right, let's get this draft going.
All right, here we go. So Caleb Williams, Shane Daniels, go. Okay, it says on QB. It's supposed to say non-QB wide receiver OT draft there at the bottom. So we have to trade back, right?
I'm down. Yeah, it makes more sense positional value-wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pick Mark Bauer, but not this early.
So I've said I don't want to see him trade back past 6 because I want them to get one of the blue chip players. But all the blue chip players are quarterbacks, receivers, and tackles.
Exactly.
So this is where I actually really like that Minnesota offer.
Yeah, let's
personally.
Force that trade, baby.
And we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Yeah, that's getting forced because that is in fact the deal. Did that work right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. It took a second to update. It said we had 3 and then 108. It took away a bunch of picks. Okay. All right. So here we are. We're on the board at 11. We did just miss Brock Bowers. He went 10th.
Damn.
So,
all right.
Still, we can still have a ton of fun. Cooper DeJean is on the board. All the corners. I mean, the only defensive player have any defensive players gone? Holy shit. Have any defensive players gone?
Probably not, honestly.
No, because Latham worked into the top 10. So,
because if there's any guy who's going that early and it's not a quarterback, receiver, or tackle, and it's an offensive player, it's like, oh, it's going to be Brock Bowers.
Right. So, I mean, Terrion Arnold's the best corner in the draft. Cooper DeJean's like a super defensive back. He can play anywhere.
And he's a returner. One of the better returners, too, in this class.
I mean, Dallas Turner's here, man. That's the best defensive player in the draft. That's a great pass rusher. Jared Verse, too. 2 excellent pass rushers. I really think if we're going to take out quarterback, receiver, tackle, those are the only guys you'd take here. Now that Bowers is off the board.
So Cooper DeJean, so he's more of like a matchup guy, right? Because because he doesn't, the Patriots don't need him. I don't really look at his tape from going off what I've heard.
He's what I call a problem solver. So he may play boundary corner for you one week. He may play box safety for you another. He may play free safety for you. You may man him up on a running back. You may man him up on a tight end. Where do you need him? That's where you're going to put him. Terrion Arnold, if you want to go like true boundary corner, you want to try to get that real 1-2 punch with Christian Gonzalez. Terrion Arnold, I think, is the best corner in this draft. Quinion Mitchell's not far off, but I just like Terrion Arnold a little better, a little more battle tested. Dallas Turner, best pure rusher. He's like, take 80% of Will Anderson. That's Dallas Turner. Same kind of player, just a little more raw, not quite as big, not quite as strong. Jared Verse is just pure muscle. Jared Verse is just a freaking bully of a defensive end. Evans, I know Evans' comp for Turner, he said today was Brian Burns, which I think is a really good one.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's basically, do we want Matthew Judon's replacement? Do we want the ideal guy to play opposite Matthew Judon on the strong side? Do we want the ideal guy to play opposite Christian Gonzalez, or just a total rover super defensive back who's also an elite kick returner?
So this may sound kind of wild, but honestly, Cooper DeJean is the guy who I think, like, positional value is not there, and I acknowledge that. That's what makes it tough for me because I would like to take an edge rusher. But you're talking about somebody, again, in the return game, that could be immediately valuable. So he's someone who could score points for you. And in this Patriots secondary, I feel like they honestly have needs a little bit of everywhere, like, especially because of how many 3 safety packages, sometimes 4 safety packages they use, and how much they like to interchange guys. Cooper can be that guy where you put him maybe where other guys aren't quite as good. Or like you said, if it's Christian Gonzalez, you have a really athletic, true number 1, but then you have another number 2 who's really good and maybe fits more with what DeJean offers with a physical skill set. Then I feel like he's just somebody who can contribute, immediately play every single down, and you just move him all over the defense and gives you just a crazy headache. So I'm going with him personally.
So can I make a counterpoint?
Yes.
I don't disagree with anything you just said, but there is another guy in this draft, a little bit lesser. I don't even know he's lesser than player. He's just smaller. Mike Sainer still. From Michigan, who can do a lot of those things. So we have 23 and 34. Do we go edge rusher here and try to target? Because remember, like, we're limited to the guys we could take.
Yeah.
Do we try to go edge rusher here and then maybe grab Sainer still a little bit later on in the draft?
Another reason that I'm hesitant for an edge rusher, and honestly, if it's like a pure pass rusher, I have less hesitation because Uche's on that 1-year deal. But with Anthony Jennings and Judon, like, they are playing. Anthony Jennings is probably going to play on every early down snap if it's not an obvious passing situation. So that kind of creates a weird situation where it's like, all right, then Uche basically isn't playing.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean?
Well, but the idea is Uche's in a contract.
If you get like Booker a little later, someone who has very high pass rush upside, that's a guy where it's like, okay, maybe you can mix him in, but he doesn't have to be a starter because of where you get him value-wise.
So this is where it's tricky. You can't draft any of the top needs. And suddenly get locked. Because I mean, there's nobody else, right? I mean, we could take Jerzon Newton, I guess.
I feel like that's way too early, though. Maybe take him. You can take him 23 if he's there, but
I think we just kind of talked ourselves into Terrion Arnold. Let's just go get that true CB2.
Okay.
All right. Terrion Arnold, first defensive player off the board, my number 1 corner. And then we'll see who's there at 23.
I did not think the first pick would take that long, but that was fun.
Well, we could get Cooper DeJean still.
Let's load up the secondary. Wait, but also Jerzon Newton.
Jerzon Newton.
A lot of good things about him.
You want to add a center? There's some really good centers here. Oh, hang on. Okay, so I got a couple ideas.
Okay.
Peyton Wilson, first round talent with a history of injuries, but this dude is everything you want in a modern linebacker. Everything. He could be interesting. Tyler Nubin is the best true free safety in this class. He's got the Devin McCourty instincts. He's just not quite as fast. He's very instinctual. Great job of getting the football. Great ball skills. Both guys I really like for them.
Is Cooper DeJean out?
We can take Cooper DeJean if you want.
People just like the versatility. Like, it excites me. But at the same time, defensive tackle, if you could pair up like Newton with someone like Barmore, that I like that a lot too.
Oh, it sucks. All the pass rushers went. What the hell happened? Oh, Darius Robinson's still here.
Ooh.
Chop Robinson still here.
I'm honestly off Chop. I recently I recorded a show with Mina Kimes, and she was just like kind of off of him with some very compelling points about he's really inconsistent. So I was earlier. I don't think I want to anymore. Darius Robinson, though, does excite me. The versatility, he's so freaking strong, and he's got pass rush upside. He could fit that like Dietrich Wise role a little bit.
Or do you want to take Cooper DeJean and see which pass rusher falls?
Cooper and see what pass rusher falls.
Because then we're probably not going to take Sainer still at this point.
Oh, that's true.
I like Tyler Nubin. We could also take Cooper DeJean and Tyler Nubin, and now we have our CB2 in Terrion Arnold. We have our starting free safety in Tyler Nubin, and we have our like do-it-all guy in Cooper DeJean, and the secondary's freaking loaded.
That does sound fun. And Jabril Peppers contract.
you do need a pass rusher. I think like pass rusher at some point.
We can get pass rushers, I feel like.
Okay. So do we want to do
Let's
Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, let's do it. Austin Booker is my fallback. I love him so much. He'll be available in the 4th.
Okay. So, and then do we go Nubin here and just build this whole thing out?
Let's just see which edge rushers are there, just so we have context.
Yeah. And honestly, I'll look to. Hang on. Jerzon Newton is still here for what it's worth. But so is like Chris Jenkins, Braden Fisk.
Braden Fisk, I feel like it's not a fit in their system. I wish he was, but I just don't see it.
Braswell's. It's really just Chris Braswell, actually. That kind of fell off. Do we trade back again?
Another guy I feel like we can get later, and it would be a really good value.
Yeah. I almost want to trade back again to get more top 100 picks.
Do it. Yep. What's the best value we can get?
Actually, let's do this one. We'll throw 130. No, wait. What was this trade we did again with the Packers? Was it, 34 for 41 and 88. That's a fair trade.
Yeah, I think so. What?
There we go.
Oh, wow.
We got to ask nicely.
Usually I get scared off the first time it tells me no.
Oh, and Peyton Wilson and Tyler Nubin are still here. Those are both first-round talents.
And the second,
who did we add? DeJean
in the secondary, right? We also have linebackers. It'd be tough. I'm not saying it would be tough for Peyton Wilson to see the field, but I think free safety would be more of a position of need that they would use more often, especially with Marte Mapu also probably playing some linebacker.
That's true. What I'd say is, so I think Peyton Wilson is a much, much better player than Marte Mapu.
Of course, but like just the way they cycle that weak side linebacker spot, like Bentley is going to be on the field for at least like 2 more years. He's almost never coming off.
But I think Peyton Wilson is an elite 3rd down linebacker, and maybe that's how you justify it. He's a guy that gets hurt a lot, but you're not going to be playing him a ton. You're just going to be playing him in high impact snaps, but he makes you much better in high impact situations.
But okay, so what's the argument for Nubin then?
What?
So what's the argument for Nubin then? Because I guess that's also a similar.
They finally get that true free safety, and they maximize. They maximize Kyle Duggar. All right, yeah, we can do Nubin.
I honestly, no, that's funny. I think you actually talked me into. I think you actually got to talk me into Wilson. Because I thought about it, I was like, it's kind of a similar situation at linebacker and safety, where you have guys to play, in your base packages or whatever, or like your starting guys. You have good third guys, and then it's kind of hard to work them in a position. But oh man, this is tough. This is really
like how long have they been trying to get that athletic off-ball linebacker?
That's true. All right. I think Wilson. I feel like Wilson's the most popular choice in the chat. That's who I'm going to defer to. Let's do Wilson. Thank you, guys.
It's tough to pass on that free safety, though. You want to do Wilson?
All right, you know what? All right, this is a good time to cut real quick. Give it to our friends at PrizePicks while we think this over. Be right back.
Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks, as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball and hockey entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. I personally love PrizePicks because they're super easy to use, easy to navigate, and they offer injury insurance, so your entries stay live even if one of your players gets injured. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use the code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
I'm sorry, old man mob in the chat. I really am. You were fantastic, but the people have spoken. Peyton Wilson, you are a Patriot.
All right.
Make it happen.
Peyton Wilson it is. All right. So, we added enough in the secondary. That's fine. Here's what I think we do with these 2 picks.
Okay.
Do you think we can get Austin Booker at 88? Yes or no?
I do. I think we go guard at this pick, honestly.
Guard or running back?
I feel like we can get Garendo in the 5th.
Yep. Oh, did we miss Oh, we missed Blake Corum. I wanted Blake Corum.
Me too. You know, that's my guy. I love Blake Corum.
All right, what guard do you want?
Where's Mahogany? Is he on here? There he is. He's probably he's gonna be available later, probably.
If you want to go guard,
like that's a no-brainer, honestly.
You think so?
Yeah, he's a monster. Right. And he's a local guy. Great story.
Yeah.
I can't even think of a reason not to, honestly.
All right, first offensive pick. Let's see, did Austin Booker fall?
If not, then Jalex Hunt.
No, Austin Booker's here. You want Austin Booker? Let's go.
Absolutely. Wait, is Jalex Hunt still on the board?
Yeah, he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, I figured. All right, now tight end.
I think tight end or running back.
Let's see who's there for tight ends.
The running backs kind of went.
Weird for tight ends. Like Theo Johnson. We're in the 4th round. Oh, I forgot we had so many picks. I thought we were in like the 5th already. Let's see who's there running back. I'm curious.
Man, I kind of like Braylon Allen here.
I'm down. Braylon Allen. Let's do it.
All right. And then I think we get the tight end at 137.
Yeah, we're running the hell out of the ball.
Oh, no, we got an edge rusher. Theo Johnson.
Okay, just to remind everybody, I appreciate the passion. The whole show, I know we also have a typo, so it's kind of confusing. What we're doing is drafting everything but quarterbacks, receivers, and offensive tackles because we've exclusively covered those positions already. But Dilly C. Dilly, I appreciate your charisma and your passion, but that's not the point of this exercise.
The whole point of this is to talk about some things we haven't talked about.
Right. And Mo Kamara, I know that's one of your guys, but he obviously is this a good time to take him, you think?
Oh, yeah. I think this is great. He's falling at this point.
Also, Mason Smith, what's his deal? I feel like he's more popular than what this
yeah, he's going to be a top 100 pick. I would say this is not respecting the board with him.
Right. Yeah, that'd be egregious. Chow Smith Wade, I think he'll be available later, but if we want to get like another good addition to the secondary, get him in the slot, a little bit of versatility, I think he could be a good later day 3 pick.
So the question is, how bad do you want a tight end? Because we're talking about pretty much doubling up on positions now. Do you want Theo Johnson's the last of that group? I think if we want Theo Johnson, we have to take him now.
Maybe I haven't watched the right games. I just wasn't enamored with what I saw from him, honestly. It's like I can see the tools and I can see him being a good player, but I just wasn't that excited. But let's see who else is on the board.
Well, that's college football. None of these teams use their tight ends.
That's true. That's fair. But even like when it came to like route running, I wasn't super impressed with.
Like, hang on. Either. Zach Zinter was a top 100 pick before he tore up his knee in the final game of the year.
It just feels repetitive because I think City so has a future on this team. It's more Cole Strange that worries me.
Zinter could play either side. He's a damn good player.
Oh, we already have Griffin Haynes.
Yeah. So this is your right, but now this is like a high upside pick.
Can he play center?
He's kind of big for center. I think if anything, you could maybe kick him out to tackle. He is 6'6", 323
yards to tackle.
Right, exactly.
Actually,
33-inch arms. Like, yeah, he could probably play some tackle.
All right, so value pick. All right, so he's our high value pick. Let's just double check who else is here because I can wait on a tight end until the 6th.
The comp form is Graham Glasgow.
That's pretty lofty praise. Yes, Zinter. Okay, so we got some context. Zinter did play some tackle reps. You know what? Offensive line is significantly more valuable than tight end. Yeah, let's do it. Take the value pick. I like it.
All right. We can go back to tight end next. We'll see. We got 3 picks left.
All right, so now we get our tight end. Get Tip. I know he's going to be there.
All right, Tip Raymond.
Yes, sir. Also, Tanner McLaughlin. I saw some of his stuff. He's pretty good too. He's like one of those guys who isn't going to wow you, but I feel like he's going to be the kind of player that a team just loves and is going to be there for a long time.
So, Taylor, I know they don't need him. I don't know how much you know about Torrey Taylor.
Not much.
This dude set every single NCAA punting record. Bryce Behringer was great. But man, I want to take him in one mock. I want to take him in one mock draft. I do. And if there's anyone I'm going to take him in, it's probably this one.
If Belichick were on the team, I'd say resounding yes. All right, can we gamble and see if he'll be here with the next pick?
Sure. Yeah, that works.
All right.
So who's still here?
I don't want to let you down. I really hope he is. Who else we got? Actually,
Michael Barrett is like a super versatile linebacker.
Okay.
Dominique Hampton could play some deep safety. We never took a defensive tackle, did we?
No. Let's see who's available. I feel like Christian Boyd will be there. I like him a lot.
So Justin Rogers.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Justin Rogers, like the last of the true nose tackles, 6'3", 346. So if we want to add a true nose.
Is Lovett not a nose?
Love it?
Yeah.
I
don't think they're gonna have a profile on him. I'd be surprised.
mean, he's 315. He's like not that. I'm saying like the big.
Oh, right, the big girthy dudes. Oh, wow. Pause. Yeah, all right, yeah, let's do it. Let's get a good nose tackle. We need one.
All right.
So, what was this? Trey Taylor from Navy. Alex and I have actually had this conversation before because I
mean from Air Force,
from Navy, or is it Air Force? Maybe
Air Force. The safety, yeah.
Yeah. We actually talked about that, and it's just that it's very complicated to get a player who's in a service academy onto an NFL roster. Like Joe Cardona was more the exception than the rule, but you know more about it than me, so feel free to explain.
I mean, it's not that it's sporadic. It might be easy for him. It might be hard for him. Like there's no real way to know. So he's a UDFA to me.
Yeah.
How ridiculous would it be to just end this thing with Joe Milton?
It'd be very on brand.
No quarterbacks, but
it'd be very on brand for you. Is your punter still here?
No.
Damn,
and even if he was, it's not respecting the board. I wouldn't let us do that.
What about Richard?
What's up?
What about Richard?
Who?
Richard, the kicker?
Oh, Reichert? Cam Reichert?
Oh. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Dude, my least favorite thing about draft season is having to cover people whose names I've never heard out loud. I will go weeks saying their name wrong, and then someone like you who actually knows what they're talking about says it completely differently, and I just look like a total jackass. Damn.
Dude, wait until like they're on the team for 2 years, and then like remember when Pop Douglas told us we'd been spelling his name wrong for months?
I always thought that was bizarre. I was like, why is the M not capitalized? That looks a little weird. So I felt a little vindicated. I feel like I was the first person. I think I was the first one to tweet it. I was like, yes. Like, because that was always bugging me a little bit. Also, I was the first one, I think, who actually started pronouncing Chuks Okorafor's name right. Everyone else called him
you were the one who told me about that. So,
yeah. All right. So those are my
Will Reichert. But could I interest you in Harrison Mevis, the 5'11", 250-pound kicker that doesn't warm up and only hits game winners?
What the hell? Wait, I'm gonna look him up right now. Harrison, how do you spell it?
Mevis, Mevis.
Oh,
he was just like they call him the thicker kicker.
To hit dingers. Oh my god.
And he was like incredibly clutch for Missouri this year. Big leg, experience kicking in inclement weather. And he doesn't really warm up. He just kind of goes out there and kicks.
I'm going to share my screen real quick so everybody can appreciate how glorious this man's physique is. Let's see. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me? How do I zoom in?
The thicker kicker.
The thicker kicker. Honestly, if we're talking about vibes and resetting the culture, this is the kind of guy that does it. Look at him in action. Are you freaking kidding me? In the context when he's next to the holder. Oh, this is tremendous. Oh, the yellow. He looks good in yellow. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how we can't pick him at this point.
All right. Harrison Mevis,
baby. I'm putting it back on the screen.
Uniceable, wherever that is. Uniceable. That's what people say about him.
Let's go. He can have one of those Madden freaking made up little, whatever power-ups they give everybody. I don't even play Madden that much anymore. I don't know what they're called.
So we'll close it out with the thicker kicker.
This may be our best draft yet. Let's see how it looks. What do you think our grade's going to be? I'm going to say.
Oh, we got awards. That's right. I haven't done this since PFF put the awards in. What did we get for awards?
Better than I expected.
How do I know what those are?
I don't either. I keep getting them for it says it's my first mock draft. I'm like, what are you talking about? This
one means trades. It's a handshake very clearly. This one means 7 round. I don't know what the jersey one is, but
does it say?
No.
We got an A+. Cooper, yeah, that was a steal.
Yeah. Peyton
I'm
Wilson, good pick. Christian Haynes. I mean, we got a ton of really good players. Just goes to show you what happens, what you can do in the draft when your roster is complete. You can actually have fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, the Patriots are probably, I think they're a year or two away from actually being able to like really take best player available instead of having this. I mean, again, this is really the best spot for them to have holes where they have them, because this is maybe one of the few years where position of need always lines up with, in some way, probably the best player available.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's very unique that their three big needs are the three big positions in this draft.
Exactly. So they get off scot-free there. Although, I still think they're probably going to have to get their wide receiver one next season. But it is what it is. If Drake May is good, if you get your one guy who can be a playmaker, your year zero is off to a good start. But yeah, we're going to upload this entire draft. Let's see it one more. Can you zoom out so we can see the whole thing?
I don't know if I can. I'll scroll through it. I just sent you the screenshot, so you have it.
Oh, perfect. All right, we'll post it on Twitter too.
Yeah, Terry and Arnold, Cooper DeJean, Peyton Wilson. I mean, defense freaking stacked. Christian Hayes, Austin Booker, Braylon Allen, Zach Sinter, Tip Raymond, Justin Rogers, Harrison Mevis.
We're running the ball and we're winning on field goals, baby. That's vibes. That's how you start a rebuild.
Yeah.
All right. That was fun. All right, buddy. Great time as always. Right. Now, this is a very busy time for you, so we're going to keep this one pretty concise, but please tell the people where they can find you in case they don't know. And if you don't, what are you doing? It's Alex freaking Barth. And let them know what great stuff you got coming down the pipeline that we all should be looking out for.
Yeah, 98.5sportshub.com. I got actually 3 things dropping tomorrow, and then I'll also have reaction to what Elliot Wolf says. I told you off the air, I won't spoil it on the air, but it is easily one of the nerdiest draft things I've ever done, and it doesn't involve any players. So you can try to guess what that is. We'll have reaction to Wolf tomorrow as well up there. And then I actually did new catch 22 with Evan Lazar today, day early because of Wolf. So there you go.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, buddy. And thank you all, as always, for watching. Again, we will be back next week with our final mock draft where we actually try to take the most realistic options and see who our ideal fits would be for the Patriots throughout the draft. But until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.